All right, boys and girls, special shout out to Sleeping In. Let's hear it for Sleeping In. That's right. Sleep, 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 sleep. Okay. All right. Good little impromptu pep rally there. And we're off. Chapter 13. We are going back to the future, and we are going to tie together all these things we've learned in geometry with all these things that we learned in algebra. Some of you are going to love this chapter and be like, finally, I got my X's and Y's back. And some of you are going to find out that you are rusty on a lot of the algebra you learned. You're going to have to work hard. This is not an easy chapter, okay? I love this chapter. So, what it says here is many of the problems you will face in the upcoming weeks will be due to the vocabulary and problem solving. So make sure you read the question carefully and develop a plan. So look, this is a question that could come out of your Algebra 1 book, except now we've got a circle equation. Do you recognize that as a circle? And it says find the intercepts. So the point being, if you don't know what an intercept is, then that's what's going to hold you up. So what are the intercepts? Ellie? Well, it's actually where it touches either axes. There are y-intercepts and x-intercepts, okay? So, this is a circle centered where? We're 2, 3. Very good for getting the signs right. And what's the radius? Okay. So how many intercepts do you expect? 4. We better get 4 answers for this, okay? How do we find intercepts? That's right. You put in 0 for x, and that'll find you the y-intercept. And you put in a 0 for y, and that'll find you the x-intercept. So now we have our plan, okay? And this is going to take some work. So we'll start by putting 0 in for x, and you get -2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 25. And I can tell you this answer is probably going to be ugly, okay? So you get +4 plus. A lot of people would call this y squared plus 9, and they would be wrong. So I recommend that you FOIL this for a little while. Okay? So then you get, if you don't mind, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides and call that 21. Are you okay with that? Okay, so you get y squared minus 3y minus 3y plus 9 equals 21. Okay? And I can tell you that this is not going to be factorable. But actually, you know what? We can do a little trick on this that would be better. I'm going to show you that trick. What I was going to do is move the 21 over, right? And get this as y squared minus 6y, whatever that is, minus 12 equals 0. And then do what? Quadratic formula. And that would totally work. Okay? But I just wanted to teach you this little trick, because I think this is a much better way to do it. Let's go back to this stage, and let's write it like this. Anyone know what I'm going to do here? Go for it. What's that? I am. I'm going to subtract 4 first. And now what am I going to do, Dennis? I am indeed just going to square root both sides. Okay, so what do we get now? Y minus 3 equals plus or minus radical 21. Because how many answers do we have? We have 2 answers. Okay, so then y is equal to plus or minus radical 21 plus 3 out of the radical. Go ahead and, who's got a calculator out? I'll pause. $7.58. I'll take that. Dennis? Okay, so remember, the answers are coordinates, right? What did we put a 0 in for there? For our x. So you got 0, 7.58, 0, negative 1.58. Okay? And now we got to do that whole process again for the x's. Give it up for Mrs. Barbian. Aloha. She's going. Oh, she's off to Hawaii. I know. That's even better than sleeping in. That's true. That's true. Actually, you guys won't be retired by that age. You're going to work till you're 100 years old. Okay. So now we're going to put in. Now we're going to put in 0 for y, and you get x minus 2 squared. And I'm just going to speed this up now. Plus 9 equals 25. Do you see how I did that? By putting 0 in for y? So you get x minus 2 squared equals 16. Oh, nice. Right? So square root both sides, and you get x minus 2 is plus or minus 4. Yes. Did I screw something up? Okay. Because you're typically right when you say that. So then you get x equals 4 plus 2 is 6. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. And so the other answers are, let's see, 6, 0, and negative 2, 0. And now maybe you understand what we're talking about with this is not an easy chapter. It's review, but it's not easy, okay? All right. A lot of times in algebra they trick you with the questions. Do I have to graph this? I do not. In fact, I would suspect that many of you would have a very hard time graphing this because it's hard. Absolute value graphs are really hard. Do you remember what they look like? They look like V's. Okay, I'll show you real quick. Y equals the absolute value of x. Okay? Put in a 5. What do you get? Come on, don't be intimidated. Just put a 5 in for x. What do you get? So it's 5, 5. Put in a 4. What do you get? 4. Put in a 3. What do you get? Put in a 0. What do you get? Looks really normal, doesn't it? Put in a negative 1. What do you get? Uh-oh. Put in a negative 2. What do you get? And do you see that it makes a V? Okay? Got it? But that's not part of the question. What do we have to do to get this question right? That's right. We got to plug in 2 for x. Okay, so you get y equals the absolute value of 2 minus 8, which is y equals the absolute value of negative 6, which is, so does it work? So the answer is no. What's that? Yes. Okay? You could have inferred that from the negative answer. Right, there could be a negative outside of the absolute value, so. All right. I think that's going to wrap this video up. We're going to pick this up next. Okay? Boom!